Thank you very much for coming. My name is Jenny Lundmark, and I am a project manager at the EU delegation here in Thailand. And I'm very pleased to be your Master of Ceremonies this morning, which will be a very short task, but important nevertheless. I will just introduce a few changes in the program. So we were supposed to have a few welcoming remarks and then a keynote speech. And I think Professor Support will merge his two interventions this morning. So we'll start with the welcome remarks by Mr. Jerome Pons, and then followed by Professor Support's intervention. Apart from that, the program should stay as it is. Now, we will be talking about investment in development and achieving the SDGs and the role of small businesses. This is our version of the so-called European Development Days, which took place in Brussels last week with a very high number of participants and high-level panel discussions on a wide variety of issues linked to achieving the SDGs. You will be seeing one of these panel discussions later today, and we hope you will enjoy it. Thank you very much for coming. Mr. Jerome.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you very much, Jenny. Thank you very much for everybody to be here, and thank you very much to Chulalongkorn University to host this event this morning. I will be very brief because I will spend with you later on as a chair of the panel, so I don't want to mobilize the attention just now. I will do it later, don't worry. But maybe just a quick introduction to what it is. First, the European Union. Well, needless to say, we have set up a nice exhibition just outside here. It is 60 years of the European Union. We've been building that. We have a strong integration of 28 countries. And I would say more importantly for today, because we're talking about sustainable development, the EU is the largest development partners in the world, and by a big margin. So we are very proud to be supporting effort all over the world to reduce poverty, to reduce inequality, and to promote sustainable development. Again, I think we will have a coffee break later, so please enjoy the exhibition next door. Then maybe a few lines on the European Development Days. This is what it is. This is our picture, inviting picture for these European Development Days. Those days took place last Thursday, Friday in Brussels. This is an annual event that the European Union organizes. It's the largest event that we do in Europe to celebrate the work in development and also to network between all the partners involved in development all over the world. It's a big event. I mean, we had 6,000 people last week in Brussels to discuss development. So that's an interesting forum for us. It's a landmark in the year. We are trying to organize things around it in Brussels as well as in the rest of the world, and this is what we do here. We take one area, which is for today, you have seen in the invitation, it's about small, medium businesses and the SDG and the interaction between both. The subject is quite broad, and maybe I'll give you a few hints to that later, but that will also be to our panelists as well to give us their interpretation of what that means. What is important here is, of course, this event back in Brussels, and here is a multi-stakeholder event. So we have people from all walks of life. We have private sector people, we have NGOs, we have university, think tanks, development partners, international organizations, government people. So it's really a mix because at the end of the day, the sustainable development is the objective for everybody, and everybody has to contribute to it. This is not something that development partners such as us have as their own goal and we deliver for the rest of the world. This is really something that everybody should contribute to, hence the multi-stakeholder approach. For us, the key element since 2015 is, of course, the Sustainable Development Goals, the Agenda 2030 that we all signed in September 2015 in the UN. It's a commitment for the EU within the EU as well as outside. So we are committed to deliver on the SDGs for the European population, but we are also committed to support our partner countries all over the world with the same objective. And that's really the part where development partners comes in. We are putting money out, we are putting ideas out, and we are trying to help all our partners to deliver on that. What is important here is that we do have a number of, I would say, different approaches. The first one is a differentiated approach. And I mean, you can look at that picture and you can tell where this young boy is coming from. It is differentiated. We are not talking about poverty development in Thailand as we talk about poverty development in Mali or in Senegal. I guess it's Senegal because of the tree. Basically, we will discuss here today sustainable development and small-medium enterprise in the context of Thailand, and that's why we have invited panelists from here. And this is the important part of the dialogue. It is addressed to you. It's not a general debate on how do we save the world. It is really trying to have some ideas on how do we help that to develop in Thailand. And I'm saying that for our panelists so that it is very clear what we talk about later. For us, as the European Union, private sector development is actually something very new. We're very proud to support that all over the world now, but if you look at the policy framework, this came up only in 2011 in what we call the Agenda for Change, which is our basically policy, development policy for the EU. So 2011, 6 years ago, we are doing private sector development. Before that, it was actually no go for the European Commission. When you do development, you work with government, you work with non-profit organizations, NGOs, but you do not work with private sector because those guys are making profit and we don't see them as actors engaged in developing the economies and developing, you know, and promoting sustainable development. Very clearly in 2010, 2011, we realized that that was a mistake and that we need to engage more with private sector and that it is not because people are making profit, that it is necessarily bad for the society, bad for the people, hence the engagement. So we're very glad to have that discussion here and see how you want to reflect on that. Very briefly, just to say that I mentioned the financial commitment. We are the largest partner. I think as of today, we all know, you all know, this is not enough. Development support is not sufficient to achieve the SDGs. We need everybody to be on board, so the finance is not enough. What we want to do is to promote conducive policies. And this is an area where the EU has quite a lot of experience because within the EU, within 28 countries, you can imagine that we have a lot of different policies. We have the same goal, sustainable development, but different way to achieve that. And this is something that we are happy as the EU, we are happy to share with the rest of the world, and we share what works and what does not work, because sometimes you learn more from the experiences that do not deliver than those that work. And this is something the EU is committed to do. Expose, explain what we do. If you like it, as a country, you take it. If you don't like it, you just leave it. We just want to propose and expose what we do, and this is where we think the EU has an added value. Voilà. Let me maybe make a brief introduction to what we will see. The event in Brussels on Thursday, Friday, that specific event was 1 hour and a half, a little bit more. This is too much. We have reduced that and we will screen something like 30, 35 minutes where we have selected the best bit of it, which is quite nice. You will enjoy really the best of the debate. Where we have identified Mr. Sachs. You probably all know Mr. Sachs. He's a famous teacher, professor, and he will tell you a little bit of what he thinks of that. And we have also identified Mr. Yunus, which was Nobel Prize in 2005 or 2006. The Grameen Bank, very famous example of private sector development, small, medium enterprise development. He will have things to say as well, and I'm sure that our panelists will have some comment on that. And basically, once we have the screening, then we'll just take a quick break and we come back here to discuss to discuss the Thai situation with the panelists that we have selected for you today. Again, thank you very much for being here with us today. Please participate to the panel, to the debate. Ask questions. We are very good and interesting people to talk to you and explain what they do. And I think you can go back home today and learn a lot from this event. And without further ado, Dr. Suppot, maybe I give you the floor. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and it is really my great honor to stand side by side with the flag of the European Union. Right, I will lead this. Right, I'm really delighted to be here with you today in the discussion of the topic of achieving the SDGs, the role of small businesses, as it is connected occasion to the European Development Day in Brussels during June 7 to 8 of 2017. Unfortunately, they are not really on the same day, but we try. Right? Follow-up may be better. And the event contributes benefit to our audience, not only particular knowledge for the businesses, but also useful, innovative idea to accomplish the sustainability. I would like to thank our partners, the delegation of European Union to Thailand, and Environmental Engineering Department, myself for Faculty of Engineering, to be co-host of this engaging event. I believe that we will continue to organize this remarkable event every year. At the present, to address the global change toward sustainability, we need the practical solution. The government must take responsibility to play an important role. At the same time, it requires to generate the platform for private sector and public sector, especially the small to medium enterprise, to participate in. The question of what and how the small and medium enterprise can contribute to the sustainability is very essential, and so the guideline must be provided. Faculty of Engineering, we probably the largest university in Thailand, but we consider ourselves as a small to medium business as well. We are, as a knowledge builder and human capital, trying to building human resources to the industry or public sector. We're trying to be a leadership for connecting between the government and the business to support innovative knowledge to promote SDGs. We cultivate human resources and opportunities to serve our communities. According to our research themes, to achieve the SDG challenges, they are including the aging society, natural disaster, robotic and digital technology, food, water, and energy nexus, and smart city. Of course, we are a little bit discipline-based, which we're trying to move to be more interdisciplinary and cross-disciplinary in the future. We're trying to doing a few things that make our students to be more aware of sustainability. Finally, I would like to take this opportunity to express my sincere thanks to the European Union of Thailand, our partner, our honorable panelists, and the organizing team. I hope that everyone would benefit from this event and network from this program to apply and make progress in the business and contribution toward SDG. So it is the time that I declare the official opening of the discussion on the topic of achieving SDGs, the role of small businesses. And I wish that the event have a great success. Thank you very much. Okay. I will end for an official speech. So I will continue with my, okay, just wait for my slide for a while. What appear in the program, but the same thing, what I will talking about today. Is engineering education is really part of the unsustainable development or a tool for a sustainability. Recently, we have asked ourselves for many times that is it our we are part of the unsustained development. We are part of the cause of that unsustainability. And if I think the answer is yes and no, both of that. Right? In the past, we are really the main part of unsustainable that occurs nowadays. But what in the future can we transform engineering to be a main tool for sustainability? That was a great challenge for our faculty, for the whole world as well. Right? Not moving? Okay. We changed engineering in, I think, 1920 or something like that. We have a hot carriage, and the development of the Ford, the vehicle has disrupted that hot carriage. Tony Seba said that horse is still there. We have plenty of horse, but it was disrupted because a business model is not suitable. Right? What? Not moving. Okay. I think Tony Seba said that there are two main things that making the automobile industry being developed. The first one is the development of it's the part of our responsibility, engineering, the development of mass production, right? And later on, it developed to be a time motion study and become a Toyota way. You may recognize that, right? With a breakthrough business model, which is market-oriented, right? They want to sell more car, right? If they want to sell more car, they have to be able to produce more car. Then two of this, making automobile industry being the biggest industry right now, right? And is it good? We don't know, but automobile industry right now is the biggest, the largest industry in the world, and probably contribute most to the greenhouse gases for today. We all recognize that, right? If we consider this, of course, engineering being a part of that, right? We might have an excuse that at that time we don't know what is greenhouse gas. Probably an excuse, or probably we really don't know. But a main thing is what's next for our future? Can it be an EV, electric vehicle? Can be one that will change the world of transportation or not? We have a lot of ideas, but EV itself also not really a sustainable thing, right? We believe that as long as we're not changing the business model, it cannot be sustainable. If one person per car, one person own one car, society is still on. It's still market-oriented. Tesla wants to sell more cars, right? That's what the thing. So one family may have many cars. Is that model is suitable for sustainability? Right? That's the question that we have to answer. Or we have to change our concept, change our business model, change our world model by discouraging a person to have a car by themselves. By one family probably don't need to have a car even. Right? Someone said that our car is just parking. Right? One day we use the car for just 1 or 2 hours, except Bangkok. Bangkok have a very traffic jam. We stay in the car for more than we working anyway. But anyway, usually, right, I myself have 2 cars. Right, so, but right now I move close to university. It's just parking there in the parking lot. Right, almost not. It's a burden that I have to start the engine for probably twice a week, or else it will broken. Right, that's what the problem. So I think that if the concept is still market-oriented, the industry cannot move. The vehicle, EV also cannot change cannot move us toward a sustainability. We have to change the idea. Probably we might thinking of bicycle being our major transportation. If we change our thinking that all the street or the highway will be provided for bicycle, and car, automobile will be an alternative. In that case, probably we can move towards sustainability. Or we change the concept by P2P, mean peer-to-peer car sharing. We don't need to own our own car, but you can go to somewhere and have a sharing car and move forward. I think business model may be important. The first business model that can be affordable to ordinary people have changed the world and have tremendous disastrous effect on our climate. This time, if we want to change the automobile industry to be more sustainable, we might have to have something else apart from technology. Similarly, right, in our northern part, in the past, this is the picture taken from Nan province in our northern part. Right now, I think if you are Thai, you know that we have a lot of this kind of deforestation. More than 30% of the forest has been destroyed by, not because of people itself, right? Not because of people inside, but there is something, right? The industry, the agro industry or livestock industry, the big industry, they have mass production, right? Trying to make it bigger, better, right? A business model, right? Right now, people living in Nan province, they don't need to do anything. One day, the industry will come, give them the seed, give them all the pesticide or fertilizer, and then they just invest into the forest and then plant the corn, right? That was the things that happened. Is engineering take responsibility for that as well, right? So right now, there's caused a very disastrous flood in Thailand every year, right? There will be something happen. So what next, right? Can the clean, healthy food can help us? Probably no, because we are consider ourselves. We want to be clean because we want to have good health, right? Not because we want the environment to be good, right? Life cycle, of course, right? We have to think about life cycle. We have to embed the awareness of life cycle into the people, right? Net zero emission, can it be the solution for this kind of thing, right? This is a few example, right? In the past, not in the past, even right now, right? I think engineering, we are very consumerism, right? All of our students working for big industry and being pulling into a part of an unsustained development, right? How could we do that? We promote, there has been surrounded by a lot of things. Students want to be a startup, want to be rich, right? Instead of thinking of a sustainable, which is more difficult. The life can be a little bit more difficult, right? So even worse, education itself being a consumer good, right? I think for Thai, you may see the news a few weeks ago that we start a student recruit war because we have to pull students due to the aging society, that we don't have much younger students. Then we have to have something that trying to recruit, admit the student into the system. Right? Learning become market-oriented. Right? So if something like this still going on, we cannot change, we cannot transform education to be a sustainable education. Right? So we try to change, right, with the reading of the Department of Environmental Engineering. We think a few things, right? How to implement sustainability in our course, right, in our curriculum. Directly into the curriculum may be still difficult because we need a professional skill. We implement a few out curriculum, extra curriculum for the students so that they can have something else apart from engineering skill, technological skill, right? The first thing is, if you want to be sustained, students have to know ecology, have to know and aware of ecology, right? Which engineering, we are not teaching ecology, we're not teaching biology. But right now, some, right, in Department of Environmental, they're teaching some biology, but probably not ecology, something like that. We have to very strict to value dependent, right? Our teaching, we have to ask students to find their values, right? What is the value? I think very important before you move toward what you are doing. Even the business, you have to find your own value, then cling to that, and then moving toward that. We're trying to embed a very strong value-dependent concept to the student. What we're trying, I think the most important thing is life cycle, right? You don't think just what you do, right, on the technology concept, but you have to think the overall life cycle of the thing that you do, right? If you're thinking just your livestock industry, you will never thinking of the deforestation. Then sustainability cannot be developed, right? Inclusiveness also very important, right? We try to integrate the curriculum, but still very difficult. Our engineering is very discipline-based, right? Environmental, civil engineering, mechanical engineering, or chemical engineering, they're just going very deep in the discipline-based. We teach students everything. Many students, after graduate, they complain that about 90% of the class they learn, they never use it again. Right? They only use for exam and they never use it again. So we teach all the margin to the student. Because we don't know, partly because students don't know what to be. Right? We cannot just teach something and then they want to do something else. Right? For students that know exactly what they want to be, we could provide some curriculum for them. Right? But right now, they're on the way that we're trying to change that, give more flexibility to the student. Right? We have to promote creativity. My vice dean this year, he will trying to do that. Right? Sustainability have to initiate by creativity and critical thinking, right? Not by technology thinking. Right? Active and intensive. The most important thing is we have to promote campus-based real-life experiments or experiences. Right now, our university trying doing a lot of things. We're trying to have a zero-waste campus, to be a green campus. We ask students not to when they buy something, don't ask for the plastic bag. Right? We give them the bag so that they can reuse several times. We provide drinking water, safe and clean for them so that they can bring their own bottle and fill the water instead of buying a bottle of water and throw it away. Several things, real-life experience will be very important. And outside our curriculum, we try to promote an innovation because right now the startup concept is come very strong. How could we use this crisis to be an opportunity? We have a program called Innovation for Better Society. Right. So what we want is just we want them to aware of the existence of SDGs, right? And what, when, and where the world will be in the future, and how for them to think, let them think about that, to be being a part of SDG in the future for the whole of the career of their life, right? So our core value will maybe shorter than what I talked in the previous slide. We have to promote the moral and integrity, which is very important. If you have strong integrity, you have strong ethics, then you will not just doing something that unresponsible. You have public awareness, right, and professional skill. Finally, we need them to be a lifelong learning engineering.